And then you can see here the close-up of the brownies, how I've served them.
Hey guys, good night. So if you've been following my post the past week or so, I've been trying to teach you little tips and how you can get started with tracking your calories. And the first thing I did was actually make a reference to tracking calories as if you were making a cake. And the idea of that is that you want to follow the instructions, okay? You want to measure everything perfectly to make sure that that cake is perfect. Everybody knows that if you put more or less on some things when you are making a cake, most of the time it just doesn't come out as you want it to come out, right? So that's why I use that as a reference. And then I thought, right, okay, so if counting calories is like making a cake, then I can also make a cake then to show the example. And also on the second video I highlighted how important it is to learn to cook, because probably one of the biggest issues or one of the biggest reasons why people's nutrition is all over the place is because of lack of a skill in the kitchen, okay? So think about it this way. If you only know how to do 2 dishes, okay? Most people know how to make bread and toast, spaghetti bolognese, and that's about it, right? So what's that gonna mean? That if you don't know how to cook, or if you only know 2-3 dishes, right, you're more likely going to fall for convenient food, because it is easier and nicer to actually order a Chinese or to go out for a restaurant than to order a Domino's, which is nothing wrong with doing those things, right? But if you want to improve your body composition, and if you want to control your food and the food intake and your energy intake coming in from what you're eating, it is definitely a lot easier if you know what's coming into your body, okay? Because when you go out to a restaurant, you can't really control it. You just eat what's served or what you order, right? And then also on top of that, if you improve at cooking your meals and you learn how to cook better, your meals are gonna taste nicer, and there's a chance that you will enjoy it more, and also your family and your partners also enjoy it more. Because one of the trickiest things when it comes to nutrition is that if you're following a diet and you're eating your chicken and broccoli, your chicken and lettuce, but it's not very nice, and you're okay to eat it, but nobody else wants to eat it, so everybody else is eating something nicer, and then you ended up just going back and eating their plate, or you don't stick to the diet because it's a bit of a pain to make different meals. So learning to cook is super important. So I'm going to take you through the cakes, I'm going to take you through the ingredients, I'm going to make a close-up video of the ingredients, and this is actually my second take of the video because the first one went fine, but I'm going to do it again because practice makes perfection, okay? And one tricky thing about all this is speaking to the camera. And it's about 9 o'clock now on a Sunday, and I kind of feel like when you were in the school and you told your mom the night before that you needed to make a cake for the next morning, and she would be up making the cake late at night because you didn't tell her on time, you didn't tell her at time. That's kind of how I feel now, because I was playing video games all afternoon, right? But the cake shouldn't take any longer than 30 minutes. So I'm gonna get this cake over and done with, and then I'm gonna go to bed. And it's super easy. I'll talk you through the ingredients first. So I have this gluten-free flour. Let me zoom it in. I'm gonna make a list anyway with the ingredients, but I'll talk you through anyway. This is kind of like a multi-purpose flour, and it already has some thickeners into it. On the actual recipe, it was asking me to buy the thickeners separately, but I couldn't find them. So I just bought this one that has the thickeners already in it. So whichever you can find or get hold on to. Okay, I also have some chia seeds. There. I have macadamia nuts. I have vanilla drops. I have cacao chocolate. This one's 70%, so it's not so bitter. And I have flavor drops. These are caramel flavor drops. On the recipe, it asks you to use sugar, but I don't want to have that much sugar. I'm trying to reduce the calories as much as possible, and an easy way of doing so was switching the sugar for flavoring, for sugar-free drops, right? And I also have stevia, so I'm going to use the stevia instead, and I'm going to use the flavor drops instead. I also have some cacao powder here, margarine or butter or whatever you're using to grease the cake, and then also have some natron. Okay, and the first thing you want to start doing is we're going to start by putting the chia seeds into a bowl with some water, okay, because you need the chia seeds to kind of suck up that water and soften up. So we need 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. Okay, so we got 1 and 2. And you mix that with 3 tablespoons of water. Right, so I'm just gonna use this one. I haven't boiled the kettle, so it's just room temperature. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I just mix that up. And I'm just gonna leave it there. It's supposed to be for 10 minutes. So it's the first thing I do. So those 10 minutes will go as I cook everything else. Right, so I'm just gonna give it a little spin and set it here aside. Okay, and then I'm gonna move on to the rest of my ingredients. And you're going to need a baking tray. I have this round one. And you want to grab the paper. And what I'm doing is I'm putting that on top of the tray. And then I add the top part of it. And I'm just gonna cut around it so it's round shape. And I'm just gonna round. Cutting it, so this is gonna make it a lot easier for you to unstick the cake from the tray. The last thing you wanna do is waste any brownies, leaving them stuck to the cake. So I'm just gonna... Right, so I have this, I have the base of that. Now I'm gonna grab the butter or the margarine. And I'm just gonna put some in my fingers. Okay? And all you do is you go around the edge of the baking tray. Just don't be afraid to use your hands. Just make sure you wash them. And now you want to preheat the oven at 180 degrees. So I have my baking tray, I'm going to set it over here. And then we have the chia seeds. Now I'm going to go for the flour. Now, so you need a bigger bowl in here, and I have my set of scales here. And I need 225 grams of flour. So what do? You turn it on, you put your bowl on the top, and then you press clear. Okay, just to make sure it resets. And then we're going for 225. Okay, so just weigh in the ingredients. Okay, 225. And now I'm gonna add 50 grams of cacao powder. And all I'm doing is, instead of having to change the bowls, I just press clear again and bring it back to 0. Okay, leaving it on the same bowl. Just wait for it to reset. Reset. And it's clear now. And then I'm gonna add the 50. Okay, 50 grams. Put this back in here. And I'm gonna add 1/4 of a teaspoon. Here's my little spoon. I'm gonna add 1/4 of a teaspoon of natron. Now, some of these ingredients are in German, so I have no idea. I'm gonna actually have to Google it after what natron would be called in English. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that 1/4 of a teaspoon there. Put it back in here. This is a natron. Put it aside. And I'm gonna give this a little spin. I'm gonna mix it all up. I'm gonna have the bowl in here. And you want to measure the butter. So just reset the numbers again. Okay, and we want 85 grams of butter or margarine, whatever you're using. So we got there 70. Yep, here we go. Okay, so I got the margarine in a bowl. Now the next thing you need to do is we're gonna chop the chocolate, the dark chocolate, into small little pieces because we're gonna melt it with the butter. I'm gonna cut 35 grams of the chocolate. I'm not entirely sure where this chocolate is from. I tried to find Venezuelan chocolate, but I couldn't find it. We used to make really nice chocolate and export it, but now we don't really export anything. 30 grams, so that's 20 grams. 20, 22, 5, 27, 30, perfect. Again, we're gonna cut it in small little pieces, or you can just break it with your hands. I'm gonna put it on the same container as the butter. Okay, I'm just gonna break it into small little pieces. The smaller the pieces, the easier, because it's gonna make it easier for it to melt. And I'm also gonna grab now the macadamia nuts. The macadamia nuts is 40 grams. And I'm gonna put them in the bowl. To make this easier, again, I'm actually gonna use a chopping board because I'm gonna chop them in little pieces, because the one macadamia nut is just too big, and then it ends up breaking the brownies, so the chunks are just too big. Okay, and I'm just gonna crush them at the side into slightly smaller pieces so they spread across better. And then I'm going to mix those with the chocolate powder and the flour, with the cacao powder. Okay, and I'm gonna add 10 drops of vanilla essence or vanilla flavor. Okay, and I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Good. And if you like my apron, Nude Life, this outfit pretty much represents my whole life. Half personal trainer, half fitness. I have a gym t-shirt, and then I have Nude Life from my second job. I'm not gonna tell you what my second job is. And then now that the kettle's boiled, I'm gonna put half a cup of boiling water, and I'm gonna put that with the butter and the chocolate, and that's going to start melting both the butter and the chocolate. Okay, and I left a little bit here because I may need to add it progressively later on, so I'm just slowly melting this. Okay, now that I've melted the chocolate and the butter, I'm going to add this to the chocolate mix. So I'm going to add a little bit, and then I'm going to stir it. This, and you're going to start stirring your mix all together now. Smells really nice. Feels like a giant Oreo. Again, as you start stirring it, it's just gonna turn into dough, and it stops sticking from the sides. So you just keep stirring it, keep stirring it, keep stirring it. And I left a little bit of water left in here from the half a cup, and I'm just gonna put the rest of the water here. Okay, and now I'm gonna add the chia seeds, which they soaked up all the water and now they're much softer. I'm gonna add that to the mix. There. And then also I'm gonna add the caramel flavor drops. Okay, so I'm gonna go for 3 full drops. There's no calories in this, so you can add as much as you want. If you like sweet stuff, just add more. Because I'm using dark chocolate, it's always going to have a little bit of a bitter flavor. But you can use whichever chocolate you prefer. I'm just adding some stevia. 5 pops of stevia, if it decides to come out. Good, so we got those in. And you can see I have this big dough bowl of brownies. into the base. And I'm going to press it down just a little bit. Spread it across. I'm not pressing it too hard. Against the tray, and I'm just gonna make sure it's nice and even. Kind of spread it across. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I have the cake in the tray. I'm ready to put it into the oven for 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna set the timer. So it actually took a little bit longer than I thought. Well, I actually forgot about it. So I started playing video games. But in here you got the cake now. And hopefully I don't burn myself. And I'm gonna bring it out on the table for you to see it. Okay, and I'm gonna take out the tray. Came out perfectly. Okay, try not to burn yourself. And because I put the paper at the bottom of the tray, look, I can actually scoop it out fairly easily. So be careful because this is hot. Probably don't want this on the table. Ta-da! And it took 30 minutes of baking. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna grab a small plate. You can serve it however you want. However, I cut it into little squares. Okay, and I'm placing them. Place two on top of each other. Serve some of the macadamias on top. Then I'm gonna grab some of the sugar-free syrup. Give that a little wish. Okay, and here we go. That's it. Vegan gluten-free brownies. Perfect. Took me just over 30 minutes. So hope you enjoyed. Try it.
And then you can see here the close-up of the brownies, how I've served them.